Hello everyone, I'm Riv, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite battles in history, the Battle of Hastings. I'm specifically going to be talking about the impact this battle had on English. Now, there have been quite a lot leading up to this battle, but I'm only going to be going over it briefly. A brief summary is that there had been a conflict over who would take the English throne. There are two main characters to this story. There's William the Bastard, who was a Norman Duke, and Harold II, who was an Earl of Wessex. There was one other man up in Norway, but he's not really that important to the story because the battle was just between the English and the Normans. So I'm not going to talk about the man who was in Norway, but he does have a role if you're looking more into the history of how the battle started. Um, but William the Bastard believed he was going to be king because he was originally promised the throne by the king um, before he died. However, the Earl, Harold II, was already on the throne because while the king was on his deathbed, he promised Harold the throne instead of William. Um, so this pissed off William, as you would imagine, and on October 14th, 1066, the Battle of Hastings occurred, which resulted in a Norman victory. Subsequently, William took the English throne, and his people followed. Now, now that you have a brief rundown of what happened, we can talk about the effect it had on the English language. The Normans at the time spoke French, and because the Anglo-Saxons and Normans coexisted, their languages naturally began to merge. A more recent example of this would be Americans adopting Spanish words such as cafeteria, originally meaning coffee shop, plaza, which generally means a public place, and patio, which is used in Spanish to mean a type of courtyard. So the Normans slowly began to sprinkle their words into the Anglo-Saxons vocabulary, and because the Normans were nobility and royalty, their words were seen as more proper or fancy. In fact, most words referring to government are of French origin. Words like duke, royal, palace, and monarchy, for example. However, this wasn't the only effect the Battle of Hastings had. While it's not a direct cause, this historic battle was a catalyst that led Greek and Latin words to being added into the language. Um, at the time, English was seen as a language for the lay people, so like just a common language, because actually it was just for the working class, because most of the nobility spoke French, Latin, or Greek, which were seen as scholarly languages. This also meant the church was mostly held in Latin, which not all Commonwealth English people understood because they were too busy working, they didn't have time to learn Latin. Um, but because of this, English speakers had to try to introduce Latin and Greek words into the English language to try and sound more scholarly. So the church would be like, okay, we can, you know, introduce your language into church. And this actually works because the first full Bible that was in English was released in 1535. Um, so just to prove how much this affected English, I will beget a doom without using French sway, um, which that just means I will create a sentence without French influence. Um, Now, there isn't much of a difference, but what is different are words that we wouldn't even think about using it in the modern day. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best example, however, it still shows that the impact was there. Um, I, for one, probably wouldn't be able to have like figured out what I would have said or what I did say if I didn't already know that that was the sentence I said originally. And if that makes sense, I don't know. Yeah, we get it. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed me rambling for however long this video will be. And I hope that I see you again whenever I go on another autistic spiel. Bye.